Hello, today we are going to discuss our remote access and the troubleshooting in WAN, that is wide area network. So in this we will learn about the remote access, like we assessing the network using a dial-up connection, or we use assessing a private network also using a dial-up connection, and then we will discuss about the remote access using dedicated connections and various remote terminals, and then VoIP, that is voice over IP network, and then we will discuss about how to troubleshoot the problems occur in wide area network. So let's discuss about first, that is the remote access. So in this we will first discuss about the dial-up connection to access the internet. So here we use the dial-up connection to access the internet services. So this is a old and less expensive method to access the internet. So this method we will use in a earlier days to access the network. So here what we do, we dial the phone numbers. The ISP provide us the phone numbers, and we dial these phone numbers from our landline phones and to connect to the ISP, internet service provider, or to access the internet services. So here for dial-up connection we require modem, telephone number or the landline, username and the password which we provide to the our modems, and the connection and IP information. So these are the requirement for the dial-up connections. The next is the dial-up connection in private network. So here we use the dial-up connection to access the private network. So here the private network have provided a dial-up connection, so we have to dial the number first to access these private networks. So this provide a secure way to access the internet by private network. So here for these two systems are required. First is remote access server and client. So the remote access server, it runs the routing and remote access services, that is RRAS. So where client, it runs the connection tool or the program which provide the access to the private network. The third remote access is using dedicated connection. So this dedicated connection is a connection which is always connected. So it is a remote connection and it provides a fast service. So this connection always have a security features and a high speed. So here it is of two type: dedicated private connection between two locations and the dedicated connection to the internet. So here the dedicated private connection between two locations is done by using a T1 lines or the secure T1 lines. So here the connection between the branch office and the main office is done using the T1 lines, that is known as the dedicated private connection, and it is a secure and expensive method. Whereas dedicated connection to internet, we are using in our day-to-day life, that is we are using DSLs or the cable modem to connect to the internet or to access the internet services. The fourth method is remote terminal. So here we are using the remote terminal to access the remote devices. So it provides a method to access the remote devices using a program. So here for accessing the remote devices, we want a programs. So here the remote programs are created using terminal emulation programs such as Telnet. So we are using Telnet to access the remote devices. So Telnet is a terminal emulation program. So remote terminal programs require a server and clients. So where server is a computer to be controlled, and client is a computer from which you have to control the server. So here the first remote terminal is designed by Microsoft, known as Remote Desktop Connection (RDC), and it used the standard that is named as Remote Desktop Protocol (RDP). But this RDC is only run over the version of Windows, means it accesses the remote devices which also have the installed Windows. Whereas the next remote terminal is design name as VNC, that is Virtual Network Computing. It is a free terminal emulator program and it runs over the every operating system. So next is the VoIP, that is voice over IP network. So it provides the method to transmit voice calls over the IP network. Before this we are transmitting the voice as over the analog systems or the circuit switching, but here we are using the packet switching or the IP network to transmits our voice. So here it used three standards, that is real time protocol, that is RTP, and session initiation protocol SIP, and H.323. So let's discuss about this. First is RTP. So this RTP defines the type of packet of voice and data which is used on the internet to make the communication between the two endpoints. And whereas SIP, that is session initiation protocol, and H.323, this handle initiation, setup, and delivery sessions of the network. So it runs over the top of the VoIP, and it also handles the multicasting process. Here the SIP use the TCP port, that is 5060, and H.323 use the TCP port 1720. So this is about RTP, SIP, and H.32, the protocols which are used in the VoIP. The next is how to troubleshoot the WAN networks, the problem which are occur in the wide area network. So the troubleshooting of WAN network is done to solve the issues arise in a WAN connectivity. So some of the problems are internet connection loss. So here we can lose the internet connection. So this is a normal problem which occur in the wide area network. The next is the interface or the noise. So here the interference, that interference from the EMI sources like electromagnetic interference, and this interference occur due to during installation or during changing connection. So we have to make the changes properly to reduce the interference and noises in the network. The next is interface error. So these interface errors occurs when we forget the LAN connection that make connectivity between possible between the to access the internet services. So here we have to connect the modem carefully to the LAN and WAN connection to reduce this interface error. So this is all about remote access and the troubleshooting. Thank you.